Well, whew, that was a close call, I might add. For the simple fact is, normally I would start my video with my introduction, but in this particular case, I'm gonna go ahead right to the point. Um, you know who I am off the back, so I ain't really got to say this, but let's just say the Eagles we are now currently at 9-7. We won a football game 20-16, and the last play of the game is Heineke throwing an end zone interception, which was intercepted by Rodney McLeod. That that in so many ways sealed the deal because the Washington football team was marching down the field on their defense, and I don't understand why, but I mean it's self motivation, and you gotta look at it this way. We played the Washington Redskins two in the last 3 weeks. We beat them in Philadelphia, and it wasn't a blowout game then, you know what I'm saying? But we beat them by a pretty good fair margin. But when you play the New York Giants, and the New York Giants, almost won that game as well because we started off slow in that game, and we started slow in this game against the Washington football team that whose defense was missing a key player on the outside right side of the defensive line. You know what I'm saying? And that was the boy Chase. Chase is missing off that line. So they still got a top 10 ranked defense in the NFL. They gave the Eagles a whole lot of problems in the beginning of this game, and for the life of me, I don't understand because see, like I said, it's the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your division teams know you pretty well. They know what type of offense that you put out, and they know what type of defensive scheme that you put out. They know this. You know what I'm saying? And so, back to back, we have Washington had given us problems, and the New York Giants had given us problems. All these problems were given to us in the first half of the game. Against the defensive kind of Washington Redskins was up, what was it, 13-7 in that game. I mean, in this game, it was 13-7 up. You know what I'm saying? They scored a touchdown, and then I think they scored another touchdown, but missed the field goal, and they kicked the field goal, which put them at 16. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it this way. You know what I'm saying? So when you miss field goals, when you get back-to-back touchdown, which is automatic 12 points, and you get another field goal, you kick, you miss, and then you kick the other field goal, and you hit. So Washington Redskins was up on a 13-7 that game. The Eagles had to make some adjustments, and they did, but let's just say the Eagles in this game didn't run the ball effectively, but they were able to get some good passing yards out of this overall. So overall, if you look at it, I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. You got to develop a passing game at some point in the season. The Eagles is still number one rushing offense in the NFL because we run the ball efficiently pretty well. And yet that in this game against Washington Redskins, the Washington Redskins kind of had our number in the run game. The same thing that the Giants did the week before. The week before we played Washington, you know what I'm saying? And so they did it again to us in this game. So apparently the Washington football team or maybe the New York Giants kind of put a blueprint out on the Eagles' run game when the Eagles played the New York Giants first in the first almost close to the end of the season and beating us in that game 13-6, I believe. Um, so if you so the blueprint is still out there. It stood out there. You know what I'm saying? The team that we play week after week look at film on us. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at film on teams, you know exactly what to expect. So this is what the Washington football game team did to us this week because the week before we had their number. We started off slow in that game. We started off slow in the last weekend against New York Giants, and then we back at Washington and start off slow in that game. So the Eagles start off slow three of the last 5 games this come to the end of the year. And so now, if one more game left, but I'm not gonna speak about that game until I get to these stats. That I got some things I got to talk about. I just wanted to get all that out in the open. The fact is, This is some stats that need to be hit on and need to be talked about now. Normally I don't talk about stats because my boy D Gifted is the stat guy. He's the king of the stats. You know what I'm saying? So if you want more stats, you go to him. He'll bring it to you off the bat. The man's young. You know what I'm saying? He knows the stats more than I do. So I get the stats. So he's the new stat champion. I'm not. I'm just bringing some stats that I've written down, but these are stats that he already know watching the game. I watch the game too, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really don't look at stats. I only look at stats as far as records concerned. That's why I keep my stat things on. But overall, let me go ahead and get this on. But anyway, my boy D Gifted, if you guys are not very familiar with him, go to his page, you know what I'm saying? Sub him up. You know what I'm saying? And he would get you the stats. He would answer your questions and get to your stats. He's the man for the job. But anyway, not any further ado, to go ahead and get this out. Like I said before, we won the football game 20-16. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good game. Jalen Hurts had for 17-26 for 214 yards. I thought he had more yards than that, but I think the yards came. I think the yaks came after his runs and his passing. Cause I could have sworn I saw on there with 258 yards, but I'm thinking that was all from scrimmage, them all from scrimmage yards. So actually, he had 214 yards, no touchdowns. Matter of fact, he didn't even have the touchdown running, but he left the running game to one good guy, and I'm gonna get to him later in the video. Anyway, the rushing attack, which we're gonna get to now. Boston got 14 carries, 47 yards, 2 scores. Now, he's the only guy that scored our back-to-back touchdown, which put at 12. Then they both extra points kicked made us at 14 points, and they kicked the let's see, a couple of field goals. I'm gonna mention that later in the video, and that will make us get 20 points. Jalen Hurts 7 carries, 44 yards, no score. Howard 11 carries, 26 yards, no score. Kenneth Gainwell 1 carry for 4 yards, no score. And Rager even had one rushing attempt, but it was -3 yards. So I think I remember that. I think he did came out the backfield and he got knocked back for a 3-yard loss. I remember seeing that. Okay, receiving yards. That guy was on fire. The guy had 6 receptions for 71 yards. Devonta Smith 3 receptions, 54 yards, and his longest catch was it 12, 13? I think the 12, 13, maybe 14 yards was his longest play from scrimmage. Boston Scott had four receiving yards for 39 yards. Greg Ward had 2 receptions for 35. Quay Walker 2 for 15. And Reagan and Howard had no catch whatsoever. So Reagan and Howard was more of the vocal point when it comes to rushing the football. But he is a pretty good receiver out of the backfield as well. Like I said, Reagan didn't have no receiving yard because he only had that one rushing attempt. But then he did have one attempt for passing, but that one attempt came out being kind of being a missed opportunity for Reagan because Hurts threw the ball in direction. The ball went through his hands. So once again, he missed the ball when it could have been a first down play. The ball went through his hand. Actually, if you look very carefully, he had his hands on the ball. And yet the ball either went through his hands or bounced off his hands and hit the ground for a negative play. But I'm gonna put this record out here. Devonta Smith needed 92 yards to pass Deshaun Jackson for the rookie record, and I think Smith had something like 890 some yards somewhere along up in there. He now needs 48 yards to get that record. He needs 48 yards. If you think about it now, 54 yards. Had he got the remaining 48 in this game, he would have passed that record. So now 54 plus 48 is 92 yards. So he's now 48 yards back, 4 yards back. Would he get these yards in next week's game? We don't know. And the way look at, I doubt it because the Cowboys is a very good. I mean, yeah, I'm throwing them out there now. The Cowboys is a very good defense, and I doubt they'll allow Smith to get 48 yards on it. I doubt very serious. You know what I'm saying? He might get it. He might not get it. We don't know. It'll be good if he can, but we'll see how that work out in next week game because the Cowboys Eagles can go into game plan against the Washington against the Dallas Cowboys football team. So, uh, like I mentioned in last week's video, that video I made, or two videos that I made rather. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get to that later in the video as well. Okay, now we get ready to go to the defense. T.J. Edwards, 13 tackles, 6 assists, no sacks, no INT, no FF. Al Singleton, 8 tackles, 4 assists, no sacks, no interceptions, no FF. And Harris, 7 tackles, 3 assists, no sacks, no interceptions, no FF. Josh Sweat had 5 tackles, 2 assists, 1.5 sack, 1.5 sack. And laying down this stat. I'm gonna mention who got the half sack, who helped him with the sack. Rodney McCleon, 5 tackles, 2 assists, no sacks, no interceptions, no FF. Javon Hargrove, 5 tackles, 3 assists, no sacks, no INTs, and no FF. Here comes the half sack. Fletcher Cox, 4 tackles, 2 assists, the half sack. Half sack. No INTs, no FF. You know what? Fletcher Cox haven't had an interception. I think he has like 2 or 3. Maybe he has he had between 2 to 5 of his career. I think it's been 6 years since Fletcher Cox had an interception. I think it's been 60 long years, a long time without an INT. You know what I'm saying? So maybe in the game against the Cowboys, he may get an interception because um, earlier part in this year, when the Eagles played a very good Cowboys team, they got a safety against the Cowboys in week 2 week 3 against them. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll see the same production. We don't know, but on time will tell. Maddox, 4 tackles, no assists, no sacks, no INTs, no FF. Avery, Gerald Avery, 3 tackles, 1 assist, sacks, INTs, FF 0. Nelson, really? 2 tackles, no assists, sacks, INTs, FF 0. Zilch. He only had 1 interception this year, and that was what was against the it was either the Panthers or it was against the Falcons. One of them two teams he had the INT for or with, or might have been one of the games in between. Or I know he only had 1 pick this year, and for a guy that has a $4 or $5 million contract for this year, you know good and well he won't be back this year. So definitely throw that little nudge out there. Milton Williams, two tackles, 1 assist, sacks, interceptions, FF zilch. Elps, 2 tackles, no assists, sacks, interceptions, FF zilch. Darius Slade, 2 tackles, no assists, no sacks, interceptions, and FF. I guess FF means fumble. Zilch. Derek Barnett, 2 tackles, 1 assist, sack, interceptions, FF, zilch. This new guy who played, I can't think of his name is, in Stanford. His name is Mavos, what his name is, C. Mavos. I guess he one guy off the practice squad. Gabby, who it is. He only had 1 tackle, 1 assist, sack, interception, fumble, zilch. Okay, kick return. Kenneth Gainwell had 2 kick returns, 21 yards, which averaged a 10.5. His longest was 21. That one, he only had that one. No touchdowns. Punt return, Jalen Rager only had one for 7 yards, a 7.0 average. His long was 7, touchdown 0. Kicking, Jake Elliott, our boy, old faithful Jake Elliott, was 2 for 2 today, for a 41, an average of 41.5 average. His long was 42 yards, no blocks, and XP's 2 for 2. Punting goes to the guy Subpar, what's his name? Subpar, that's his name. Tackles 2, for 74 yards. His average was 37.0. His long was 39, and touchbacks 0. Okay, now that's all. That's done. Jaden Hurts overall yards, not from scrimmage, just the yards for the season. He had 2,930 yards for the season. And he's somewhere up to 14 to 15 touchdowns, 7, 8, or 9 INTs. This was a well-fought victory. A win is a win, you know what I'm saying? It took me some time to actually accept that. Normally a win is a win would mean that you didn't try hard enough. But a win is a win. It is what it is. We're now 9-7 for the year. Now, our next game is against the Dallas Cowboys, who I mentioned earlier in this video, or midpoint of the video. The Cowboys are the division champs. They're going to be. They playing their Arizona Cardinals as we currently speak. And when I last saw it, the Cardinals was up on them 3-0. The Cardinals had many opportunities to punch it in for the touchdown, but they had back-to-back penalties, and that would hurt their chances of getting a touchdown. So they wound up kicking the field goal and got 3-0. So like I said, that was my last saw before I came to make this video for you guys. This game against the Cowboys really don't matter because the Cowboys don't own no tiebreaker over us or whatso matter or whatsoever. But they do hold a tiebreaker on one of the other teams that they played this year on the road or at home. And so this victory here today was very, very important because the Washington football team played rugged. And I knew they would because most of their starters came back, especially Heineke. Now, I'm not going to say that the Washington football team found their quarterback, but the way it's looking, they probably did because Heineke is a rookie quarterback. This guy reminds me a lot of Brett Favre. If you guys know, Brett Favre is one of them gunslinging rookie quarterbacks. He one of them guys that you knock down, he'll get back up and keep on ticking. Heineke is that kind of quarterback. And the football team have had a quarterback like that since the boy who left him and went to Minnesota Vikings. He's the last quarterback they had who they kept franchise tagging, you know what I'm saying? And so to a point where the franchise tender got so high they could keep him anymore, and so he wound up going to the Minnesota Vikings, who he currently playing for now for the past 5-6 years now. So the Washington Redskins got their quarterback, I believe. It's about putting it all together. But I'm not going to give them credit now because they are losers, and right now they're accepting the L. The L belongs to them. You know what I'm saying? And so, wow. I mean, a lot of people, this actually was a head scratcher because we didn't know what Jalen Hurts was doing in that backfield. Washington Redskins kept bringing not blitzes, but they kept bringing front four pressure. And this is something that the Eagles' offensive line ain't going to get better at because if they don't, the Dallas Cowboys, they are a very good vulnerable front four. And the Eagles' offensive line couldn't hold water if they could because they allowed Hurts to get pressure on a constant basis. They kept, like I said, they didn't bring many blitzes, but when they did bring blitzes, it was effective to a point where it ran him out the pocket for him to either throw incomplete balls or then throw balls out of the way. Because if you remember now, I read in the stat category, He threw for no touchdowns, which means that he threw no interceptions whatsoever. So I read my quarterback throw no touchdowns, then throw two INTs. And so his overall percentage record, I'm not sure if it's 85%, 90%, or whatever, because like I said, he didn't throw it. He didn't throw a TD in this game, but he was effective passing the ball, and I kind of figured that because, like I said it about 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks ago, that the Eagles need to develop a passing game, because if you don't, teams gonna stop the run, and then what you're gonna have is your backup plan, and that's to pass the ball. And so they did that effectively because he threw for 214 yards. He also ran for 44 yards. So if you combine the yards from scrimmage, he threw for 250. His overall yard from scrimmage is 258. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't score a touchdown running, and he didn't score one passing. So, I mean, he pretty much stood back there in the pocket this entire game, both halves, and took hits, but he got the ball out and completed some balls for first downs. That was a good thing. So, and then for the first time all season, the Washington, the Eagles had finally put Hurts on the center most of this game. That pretty much saved his his season, because we all know you can't throw in shotgun or in pistol formation in every game. You can't. You got to learn to pass the ball or run it on the center. And so, from what I've seen in this game, the Eagles actually put Hurts on the center most of this game. And I'm glad they did that, because I was up here wondering what the hell was going on. Because, like I said, the boy was running for most of life in this game. Because, like I said, Washington kept bringing front foot pressure. They didn't bring many blitzes. But their front foot pressure got enough pressure on this boy to a point where they ran him out of bounds, pushed him out of bounds, or better yet, where he had to complete the ball, incomplete balls. So that's what I saw in this game. And so I'm hoping that the game against the Washington, the next game, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm supposed to say Washington. In the next game against the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, the Cowboys are a better front four rushing team. And they got that Michael Parsons, who's a slasher. And so the Eagles are going to have to be very wary of where he's at all costs. Because this guy has the ability to blitz from the middle. He can blitz from both sides of the line, and you gotta know where he is. Because, like I said, Michael Parsons is an outside linebacker. He has to be. He reminds me much of Michael Kendricks. Michael Kendricks would pretty much like him. Michael Kendricks played defensive end, and he also played linebacker for the Eagles way back when Chip Kelly was the coach, and way back when Andy Reid drafted him. Reid drafted him to play outside linebacker, but Kelly put him in a 3-4 scheme, and you see how well he flourished in a 3-4 scheme. So, Michael Parsons is a guy the Eagles are going to look out for. I'm probably going to talk about him in videos and other videos coming during the course of the week, because I'm gonna go ahead and watch this game against the Cowboys, and watch this game and keep my eyes on Parsons. And then maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of the week, I'm gonna make up a video about the Cowboys and what the Eagles need to do, and be very wary of Michael Parsons. So, let's end the video on a high note, right quick. Like I said, the Eagles won this football game 20-16. It wasn't no thrilling victory. It wasn't no surprise victory. It wasn't no shock victory, but it was more like a subpar victory. So this is a subpar victory. We got the win. A win is a win. Like I said, I can't complain about it. It gets that the Eagles had to go through so much trouble to win this football game, and that's what the subpar about. So, this is your boy, the Green Talons. Eagles won this football game 20-16. Fly, Eagles fly. And most importantly, subscribe, share, comment, and subscribe. Notification bell on top. So when I make a video, come direct from me to you for your enjoyment view or your enjoyment pleasure. I'm gonna sit back now and watch that. Like I said, I'm gonna go watch this Cowboys Arizona game and see what that happens, and make a video on Michael Parsons and this entire Cowboys defense. This is your boy. holler back. Peace.